सुबह सुबह जल्दी उठ के भागने का बिल्कुल शौक नहीं है मुझे. Okay, so slot 3 is what I have got. Unfortunately for me, they have given me Meerut. That was my fifth option. That's for six options, na?
Yeah.
They gave me my fifth option. I think I should have done Chandigarh as the fifth option. That would have been better. Well, Meerut is neither here nor there. Chandigarh, at least I can go a day early. Meerut means there's no point going a day early, and it's too painful to start on the same day. What to do? They have a special liking for me.
So I can see slot 1, slot 2. Somebody also got the sixth preference. I think Sal Bond.
Hello, there's someone who's worse off than me. But my mistake, my slot 5 is worse than my slot 6. Okay. So
Slot 5, I think preference 5. Okay. So
yeah,
I have I have give two. I have two slot. Second slot. Can I give both paper? I don't know what that.
Huh? ये क्या बात हुई? एक मिनट यार. Let me just see what does that say.
I think that's a slot 2. Luckily 5 kilometers from home.
Wow.
Okay. Nakshatra. I think what is more luckily should be that you are having a paper that is going to be awesome for you. That's what we should be interested in. Whether it's slot 1, slot 2, and slot 3.
Himanshu, it seems, Jijo, I think Himanshu would have applied twice. But one of them should have got cancelled.
Okay. Interesting.
So I've got two slots. That means probably he's got 1 and 2, 1 and 3, or the 2 and 3.
By the way, our session is also going to be zoomed live on YouTube. So we are obviously not watching the chat that is happening on YouTube. So we obviously.
Then we should have done StreamYard. That would have been better.
This purpose of this particular session was more in terms of interacting with our students. Though we are keeping it online, so anyone watching it through YouTube, we may not be responding to the queries, but we are picking a lot many queries. Achha, let's start with the basic questions that has been asked. So somebody is getting a slot 1. Radhika has a question. Is it good? I think we have got another question. Aditya saying which slot is easy, and we have got which again Dia is asking which slot is easy. Let's first understand one simple thing, right? When you look at these slots, the CAT is doing the slots out of convenience, right? So is it possible for them to conduct the test for for all the students in one slot? Yes, they can. I think TCS has that capability, but they've decided they're going to break it down for whatever is the reason. Now they have a process which is sort of mathematical, statistical stuff. They'll eventually compare across slot and give a scale score. But from your perspective, your CAT is your CAT. Whatever happens is slot number 1 and slot number 3 or slot number 2. It doesn't matter. Your slot is slot number 2, then that is your CAT. The level of difficulty of the slot can't be predicted. It doesn't matter. So you are if you are able to do well in the test based on your slot, the maths will take care of itself. So and what the paper is easy or difficult will not make any difference at all, right? Because it's a relative test. Now the issue is, let's say slot number 1. So far the CAT has not yet come out with. I don't think GP the CAT has come out.
Before you move to that part, I just want to add a couple of things to what you said.
Sorry.
यार ये मत सोचो कौन सा स्लॉट आसान है मुश्किल है, ठीक है. First of all, if you look at CAT papers from 2014 till 2021, okay, 14, 15, 16 papers you don't have, but 17 to 21 all of you have. Please look at 17 both the papers, 18 both the papers, 19 both the papers, 20 all 3, and 21 all 3. Every year you find the level of difficulty of the papers is almost the same. There might be a marginal variation. So it does not matter which of the 3 slots you get. None of them is going to be easier than the other or more difficult. Yes, there will be a marginal difference, which is human, which cannot be avoided, because whatsoever they might do, minor difference will crop up. And for that, they have the process of scaling. For example, last year, if I remember correctly, slot 1, the DILR was slightly difficult as compared to slot 2 and slot 3. Slot 2 and slot 3, you could easily do 8 questions. Slot 1, after 4 questions, you were struggling to look at the second or the third set. What happened? In slot 1, if you did 4 questions correctly, instead of 12, you got 13.5 marks, and that was 80 plus percentile. That was not the case for slot 2 and 3. So first is the level of difficulty. To the extent possible, they will try to keep it the same across all three slots. However, whatever variation happens will be taken care of by the normalization process. अब बिल्कुल चिंता नहीं करो, सब एक जैसा है. जब हम बोलते हैं कि स्लॉट अच्छा है खराब है, वो मेरी पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम है यार, मुझे सुबह नहीं उठा जाता, मेरे को सुबह 8 बजे का पेपर नहीं देना है. That is my problem. That has got nothing to do with CAT as such. So if you are someone who wants to get up comfortably, good for you if you get slot 2 or 3. If you are an early riser, then slot 1 might be convenient for you. Okay, so these are personal issues. These have got nothing to do with the paper. Yeah, Jijo, back to you.
Yeah, so there are a lot many questions in terms of the strategy for next 30 days. We'll come to that, of course. That is the agenda of the session. Just that we thought of addressing this question before we get to this. One other thing is that people saying that is an advantage in slot 1, slot 2. It doesn't really matter. Obviously, the CAT has not come out with any sort of sample test, at least so far, at least that's my understanding. And CAT has not come out with exactly whether they're going to stick to the same distribution of questions across section the last year. So the people in slot number 1 would realize it. People in slot number 2, slot number 3 will have prior knowledge about it, but eventually that wouldn't matter at all. Whether you want to take help of want to know what happened in slot number 1, if you're slot number 2, slot number 3, that also doesn't matter. That's all personal choice. You do what you want. But at the end of the day, what matters is your slot, and more than your slot, the question that is key on the screen. That's it. That's what matters. And your decision with those questions is what you want to matter.
One change which I would definitely recommend for all of you is try to create your sleep and a waking cycle based on the slot. So if you have unfortunately got slot 1 and you are someone who's a late riser, maybe you need to start sleeping early. At least for the next 30 days, get into that habit. Okay. If you are someone who feels sleepy in the afternoon and you have slot 2, you have to make sure you are fresh. So change your sleep cycle in such a way that you are fresh at that point of time. Secondly, all the mocks that you take from now have to be as per your slot. So your body clock, try to get it in sync with your slot timing. That's the only thing you need to do from now till CAT. Apart from, okay, not the only thing, apart from the usual stuff, ये पक्का कर लो यार, मेरा slot 3 है, सारे पेपर मैं slot 3 के टाइमिंग में दूंगा, आदत डाल लो, ये बहुत जरूरी है.
When is the best time to stay in your schedule? Today.
Now,
I think,
tomorrow onwards, your schedule has to change. If you have slot 1 tonight, you have to sleep at 9 p.m. Might be difficult, but please get used to it.
You don't have to sleep at 9, but so, yeah, but you get the picture. All right, so we are going to get into, I'm going to open the board here. We'll get into, we'll discuss, we'll just keep it slightly loose here. Okay. Not having
Jijo, there's one question, I think we'll pick it up. वो जो सवाल था ना, दो पेपर आ गए, दो बार आ गया है. ठीक है? Himanshu saying, I have applied twice, once in general category, once with EWS. Can I give both papers? No, you cannot give, Himanshu, you should not. You're the same person. Himanshu Mishra can take the paper only once with his Aadhaar card number or whatever. Okay. So my suggestion is, since you have filled it up as EWS, please take the paper in the same slot in which you have got the EWS. Also, please call up the helpline or send a mail to CAT saying that I got it twice. I'll be taking the paper in this particular slot. The other should be cancelled. Okay. Even if you don't send them a mail, does not matter, but please don't take the paper twice. भैया तुम reject हो सकते हो, वो बुरा मान सकते हैं.
True. Okay, so let's start with the last mile. We have got a lot of questions. I'm just listing down some of the questions that I can see here. So we'll address one by one. One of the questions is that how many mocks to take, and that is another one that is asked. Any other specific question you can keep on throwing. So next question is, I can see how to revise quant. That's another question. We'll get into general trend of difficulty across 3 slots. Ashita, we already addressed it. We said don't bother. Okay. So the third one is to look at a daily schedule. That's another thing that I can hear. Anything else? Keep putting it there.
I'll quickly go through the YouTube questions also so that we don't miss out on anything.
Okay.
Okay. There are more people. Okay. Sleep. We have taken care of slot numbers. Okay. CAT be like जुगाड़, yes, CAT जुगाड़ से ही होता है. Jijo, people want to know about your health.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you so much.
And those of you are 100, 150, 200 kilometers, go towards the city a day in advance. Don't worry about leaving on the same day. I can afford to do it because for me nothing is at stake. You should not take that chance. Okay, which slot is most beneficial doesn't again matter. I think most of the questions seem to be about which slot advantage, disadvantage.
I think we addressed that question.
Okay. So then there's one decent percentiles in VRC struggling in the DILR. What can be done, which I think will cover. Okay, I think that we can do for each section. If you are struggling in a particular section, what should you be doing? Yeah. Ankit says, please make a video for CLAT students also. Ankit, you should not be here. You should be preparing for CLAT. And there are a couple of dating site ads on this. So I think we can ignore them. Okay. Wrong place, wrong time. Okay. People are talking about mindset with respect to slot. Okay. Okay. How many mocks? Okay. How we have taken that question, Jijo? So that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Attempt strategy. We have already written those. Yeah.
I think we are some. I'll have to 1 second delete the annotations. Okay.
I think in the end we can take up that issue again, the advantage or disadvantage of each slot. I don't think there's any advantage, disadvantage, but still, okay. One question I think we could address, Jijo, is based on these questions which are coming. Should you be looking, if you're slot 2 or 3, should you be worried about, or should you go through the analysis of slot 1 and 2 or not?
Yeah. So I'll write that here.
Yeah.
Slot 1, should I look at slot 2 and then use this? Should I look at slot 3? My score in all sections not going 2 digit. Please help. Can I start prepare now? That's interesting question.
If some topic to be done, what should we do? Or do we keep, okay? Do we do something new or do we keep revising? That's the question from Syed. How many mocks and what to take? When should we stop mocks? Okay, that I think. Okay, Jijo, I think you have already written almost all the questions. Yes, I have taken note of your question. How do we mentally prepare for the exam day? Okay.
Ouch.
Mindset for slot 1, mindset for slot 2, mindset for slot 3.
All done. All picked up. I have picked up.
Great.
So we're going to just start from here. And I'm sure that we will probably address a lot many things. I think that the way in which we'll do is we'll eventually bring the daily schedule towards the end. That's something that we look at. We will start addressing so there are certain issues with respect to managing college-based exams. We'll start addressing the question with respect to this. At the end of the day, I think GP, where we can start is these question number 5. I'm at a particular percentile. I need to move more. I'm a particular score. I need to move more.
Yeah.
I need a particular one. Is there anything that one can do in 30 days? So let's say that is where we'll start with. GP, I think you can address that issue. In 30 days, is it possible to have an increase in score? First of all, if so,
let's talk about percentile score. Yeah.
The same percentile score. Okay.
Yes.
Chalo, take a percentile rank.
Percentile rank. Yeah.
Can my percentile rank move up in 30 days? With obviously result of score. If so, what?
Okay. So let me start answering this. Yes, obviously it can. Okay. So again, I will go back to what I've been talking about for the last 6 to 9 months. Ki bhaiya, percentile is an outcome. Okay. What does percentile rank mean from your point of view? A 90 percentile, if I take that as a number, is typically at 60 marks. If you look at last 2 years' paper, 60 marks. 60 marks means something like 20 questions out of 66 questions. So if you are worried, if you are saying I'm at 50 percentile, यानी या तो तुमको कुछ भी नहीं आता है या पेपर में तुम खाली टाइम बर्बाद कर रहे हो. ठीक है? When I say time बर्बाद कर रहे हो, you are doing questions which you should not be attempting, difficult चीजें उठा के अपनी ego को satisfy कर रहे हो, or alternately you are trying to do everything and moving so fast that you are not able to understand anything. Okay, I don't know which of the case would be there for the student. The student needs to ask himself or herself, if I have to do only about 30 questions in the paper, okay, only 30 questions in the paper, let me say 12 in your strong sections, 10 in the medium section and 8 in the weak section. 12 plus 10 plus 8. I don't care which of these is the quant, which of these is DILR, which of these is VA. I'm saying your strongest is 12, weakest is 8, and the medium one is 10 questions. If you can do just this, you can just do this much in the paper, I can assure you, you will be 90 percentile plus, most probably you'll be 95 plus. Because if I say 12 plus 8, 20 and then 30 questions, and even if you get, let's say 7 or 8 questions wrong, or let me take 9 questions wrong, okay, Even if you get 9 questions wrong, that means, and let me assume all of them are negative marking and none of them is a theta. Okay. So what does that mean? 21 into 3, 63 minus 9, you'll be 54, which will be something like not 90, which will be something like a, let's say 87, 88 percentile. Okay. Okay. And if instead of 9, it is 6 right, 6 wrong, sorry. Okay. If it is 6 wrong, okay, you will have 24 extra marks. Sorry, not say 24, sorry, 3 extra wrong, 12 extra marks. 12 extra marks. Okay. So 60, so that 54 will become 66, and 66 will be something like a 92, 93 percentile. Okay. Typically 60 marks, last year 99 percentile was 90 percentile was at 50 marks, 57 marks, sorry. Okay. So this is what I want you to focus on. If you say यार 50 percentile पे चक्कू कुछ नहीं हो रहा मुझसे, तो मैं खाली ये करना है, टेंशन नहीं लेना. 12 questions, that means in the strongest section also you are doing only 50% of the paper. Okay, that is what I'm saying. In the weakest section, do only about 8 questions. 8 का 6 हो जाता है, कोई टेंशन नहीं है. If you say in my strongest section, no, instead of 12 I can do 14, all the more better. Okay, so to me that is what you need to understand, that 57 to 60 marks is 90 percentile. Okay, 90 percentile is never a challenge, and 90 percentile पे बहुत अच्छे कॉलेज मिलते हैं. Okay, so that is what I would look at doing. If for this item number 5, that if I'm at 50 percentile, acha, by the way, 90 percentile, 95 percentile would be at something like 75 marks. Okay. Okay. It would be at 75 marks, that is 25 net correct answers. And again, अगर तुम्हारी accuracy अच्छी है और 30 सवाल में तुम, you can get 75 also. I think I'm not saying it is easy, but if you are someone who's very good at, has very high accuracy, बिल्कुल तो आ सकता है. So I would say for a 95 percentile, possibly for 75 marks, you should have about 35 questions attempted, assuming a 20% error rate.
So 99, 99.5, these are the other questions, GP. How do
Yeah.
what is?
Yeah. So I hope the basic wala theek hai. देखो, if you are looking at, if you tell me I'm looking at this, I'm stuck at 80, 85, 90 percentile. Now, the most probably it is only because, and again, I'm assuming it is not because of lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge का मतलब after the paper DI के minimum 2 या 3 set हो जाते हैं. Without worrying about the time limit, you are able to do 2 to 3 sets of DI after the paper, if not during the paper. Out of the 24 questions of quant, you are able to solve about 15 questions without looking at the solutions. Okay. After the paper, when you do English, you can do about 14, 15 questions correctly. If you are one of those people, then you can easily, then there's no knowledge gap. Okay. Then you don't have a knowledge gap. अगर knowledge gap नहीं है तो यानी पेपर में कुछ कचरा कर रहे हो. ठीक है. Let us try to see पेपर में क्या कचरा कर रहे हो तुम. Okay. Most probably, okay, there are 2 or 3 things, and that will probably go section by section. Okay. In verbal, either you are becoming so slow, verbal and RC, that you are not able to complete, and you are going deep into analyzing every passage and question, कि paper भी complete नहीं हो रहा, and इतना ज़्यादा analyze कर रहे हो, you'll get confused also. Okay, that is one problem which is then verbal. The other problem is the other extreme, which is I want to do everything, so I read so fast that I don't understand and just randomly mark answers and keep moving. Both the extremes are wrong. Okay, so you need to see where are you, what is it which is causing problems for you. I cannot give a generalized formula for everyone. So all I can say, these are the issues. And both of them, what you need to tell yourself, यार जो समझ नहीं आया, छोड़ दो ना सवाल. First of all, read at the pace at which you are comfortable. Secondly, if it's an inference-based, reasoning-based, comprehension-based question, reading the question 2-3 times or the passage 2-3 times will not improve your understanding. So पहली बार में हो गया, अच्छा है. You read the question, you know the answer, mark it. You read the answer, you are confused, go through all the 4 choices once more, still don't understand anything, leave it. You are able to eliminate 2 choices, take a call, mark करना है कि छोड़ना और आगे जाना है. ठीक है. Don't tell me I will go back to the passage, read it again to understand the answer, because you will not. Under time pressure, you will not be able to do it. That is one part of the story. Second part of the story with respect to verbal is, मैं खाली IC पे लगा रहता हूँ और verbal को time नहीं देता. If I don't give time to verbal, which is 3 questions of parajumbles, 2 questions of odd statement, and 3 questions of parasummary. 8 questions. Okay? Out of these 8 questions, अगर तुम let me again say कि out of 3 questions of parajumbles, you will not be able to do any of them. But बाकी 5 तो है ना. Parasummary, odd statement, you can get 3 to 4 right. And out of those para jumble questions, you could at least do one of them which has got short statements, which is easy to work with. Okay, but so all I'm saying is, या तो decide कर लो कि मेरे को accuracy पे जाना है, या decide कर लो to the extreme, I will go only for speed. Okay, but whichever way you do, if you say I will go for accuracy, it means when in doubt you leave the question. Okay, if you say I will go for speed, that means you cannot go back and look at the passage again. So either way, you have to follow the basic process, nothing else. Okay, these are verbal. I don't know what else to say. If you can add anything.
Yeah, but you finish it, then I'll add. Continue. I think you go for DILR.
चलो फिर DILR पे आ जाते हैं. Okay, so this was my verbal story. Okay, DILR, again, as I've always said, it's a question of 1 set, 2 set, 3 set. My starting point always will be यार कम से कम 1 set तो छोड़ना है. Okay, so attempting the paper, all I try to do to begin with is identify which one said definitely not to attempt, identify which one said definitely to attempt, and to do that, if I have to spend 7, 8, 10 minutes going through all the 4, 5 sets, I don't have problem. Okay, I will do that. Okay? But before that, the starting point would be, after the paper, am I typically able to solve 2 to 3 sets without looking at the solution or not? If the answer is no, I'm able to solve only 1 set without looking at the solution, then you have a knowledge gap. And the only thing that you can do in the time available is to do all the sets from CAT 17 to 21 and all the mock CATs. Okay. All sets from CAT 17 to 21, this will be 75 sets. Then the CDCs and the prime in that order. Okay. Why CDCs and prime in that order? Not because the CDCs ज़्यादा महान होते हैं prime से. Actually, when we create paper, we don't call any one of them CDC or prime. We create the paper जो उस time पे अगला paper आता है उसका नाम वो डाल देते हैं. Okay. So from our point of view, both are same. Okay. But because you would have probably taken CDCs more than the prime, which is I'm saying पहले वो वाले कर लो. Okay. Now in these, identify which are the sets which you cannot solve at all, forget about them, and look at the sets which you can solve but you get a little confused, and keep doing them every alternate day till you reach CAT. उससे होगा क्या? At least some of these things will get stuck in your mind. This continuous revision will ensure कि paper के अंदर you will at least be able to do 1 set if not 2 sets. Okay? Now many of you will say एक set में होगा नहीं. हो सकता ना हो, maybe it will happen. I know of students last year, as I said, one of the girls, she had attempted only 1 set in slot 1 and she ended up with 80 point some percentile, and she's in IIM Indore now. So between now and CAT, all you need to do is keep the same kind of sets doing again and again. The ones which you get confused a bit, the ones which you find difficult, something just 25 minutes set समझ ही नहीं आता है, उसको नहीं करना है. Someone had asked one of the questions, जीजो, कि I think सैयद का question था वो, कि तू कि कुछ नया करना कि नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं करना. As I say, normally, what you have not understood in last 9 months of preparation or 18 months of preparation, अगले 15 दिन में भी नहीं आएगा. You will only be wasting your time. Your simple rule has to be, जो आता है इतना अच्छा कर लो कि गलत ना हो, जो नहीं आता है उसको भूल जाओ. Just to repeat, what you know, you should do it so many times that you will never make a mistake in it. And what you don't know, it does not exist for you. Okay, nothing new to be done. Okay, so look at the mock CATs and the old CAT papers and इन्हीं को अच्छी तरह रगड़ लो. You will definitely end up doing reasonably well as far as DILR is concerned. And the same rule will apply for CAT or for Quant also. Okay, which means your focus has to be CAT papers, mock CATs. Keep revising the question, keep looking at the different kind of जुगाड़ solutions which are possible and keep revising them. So DILR और Quant के लिए तुमको खाली revise करना है, paper दो revise करो, paper दो revise करो, which means I'm probably jumping to another question which came, how many mocks? Which means you cannot take 6 mocks a week. But if you take 6 mocks a week, where will you have time to analyze the paper or revise? Okay? So which is why you need to make sure you take 2, maximum 3 mocks a week. The day you take a paper, you are only going to do that paper and analyzing. The remaining 3 to 4 days, you will have to look at, let's say, revising older CAT papers and mocks, both for quant and DILR. Revision will not be very useful for VRC, but for quant and DILR, revision is the key to doing well in this paper. पेपर में दिमाग नहीं लगाना चाहिए, पेपर में सोचना नहीं है. एंड माय रूल इज वेरी सिंपल, पेपर में सवाल देखा दिमाग लगाना पड़ेगा तो मुझे नहीं करना है. I don't want to do anything which where I have to apply my mind. I want to do a paper in a mechanical way. सवाल देखो, मेथड लगाओ, सॉल्व करो, आगे जाओ. सोचने की जरूरत नहीं होनी चाहिए. When will I think or when will I look at applying my mind in round 2? And 9 out of 10 times, I can assure you, round 2 or round 3 will not happen for most of you. So it does not exist for you. Okay. So that broadly covers what I would have said to anyone.
Yeah. So I think you've covered almost. Actually, you've covered everything. Just a few things I want to add.
I'll just interrupt 1 minute.
Sure.
Okay, because I think that clarification needs to be given. When I say CAT papers for DILR, priority 1 is a CAT 17 to 21 for DILR. And then you can look at 2000 to 2008.
This is priority 1, and then
2000 to 2008. Don't go for the earlier one because they are heavy DI papers. Those kind of papers you don't get now. As far as the quant is concerned, okay, you should start with again CAT 17 to 21. Then go to CAT 1990 onwards. 1990 to 2000 are more relevant to today's CAT paper as compared to 2000 to 2008. Okay. And those of you asking, where do we find those papers? These are in your aspiration account. All old CAT, ZAT, IFT papers are there in your aspiration account. You can download them from there. Okay. So I think it's the library or somewhere, Sachidanand, I'm not sure where exactly, but uske andar hai. Devansh, if you're not a CL student, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if we can help you in that regard. If you're CL aspiration account mein, maybe you could check up with one of your friends who's a CL student.
If you take an aspiration account, GP, it automatically is freely there. If you just register
so just register Devansh on the CL website, create a free account, and this free stuff will be available to you in any case. Okay. Aspiration.ai. Please register here, you will get it.
So there are.
Chalo, Jijo, back to you now.
Chalo. I think that very colorful presentation has happened. Just to summarize what GP is actually saying, that don't worry about nothing new. Whatever you know, revise it. Whatever you don't know, forget about it. That's what GP is suggesting. And GP is actually saying that has basically the advice that GP has given is advice that we have been giving for the past 8 months. So nothing has changed basically. And so there is one sort of stuff that I want to discuss and talk about. Is that why are we having this question and worry, which actually brings back to this, I think, which naturally gets into the, I think this thing GP is already addressed. And then we have got daily schedule. We'll work discuss later. How many mocks is later? How to revise quant is something that probably we'll pick up later. Building okay. There are a couple of things I would want to then lay down to, which is this thing about mindset for CAT and building confidence in the sense. Okay. So let me start with this. Why is when you say that your score is stuck, your score is fluctuating, we've already given too much of emphasis to our mock CATs, right? And especially when it comes to your mock CAT, there are papers that you have done well. There are the papers that you have done okay. There are papers that are done really bad, right? And I'm guaranteeing you that you've basically forgotten about the paper in your mind that you've done well. And you're only worried about the papers that you have not done well. And if it happens recently, let's say recent mock that you have taken, let's assume that, so I was hearing a comment when somebody got a VRC score of 55, let's say CDC, I think 9, 10, and that score came down to about 5 in one of the latest CDC. And that's when we tend to worry because we think that this is probably what is going to happen in the CAT. We think the worst thing that is going to happen in the CAT. That is the first worry that we have. If the paper, if GP, I've seen this. If people get high score, they will question the mock. Mock the very, very easy. If they get low score, they blame themselves. At the end of the day, it eventually comes back to that reality that we are creating. Is that what is the problem? There is no solution to this particular problem because you already create a reality. Saying that whether it is good, bad, or okay, you're going to blame yourself and eventually say that I'm not going to do well in the CAT. You've created the reality in your mind, in your perception in your mind. That is not the reality, perception in your mind. So that's number one. Now, one thing that I want to talk about. The second thing that I want to talk about, especially that GP is already addressed here, which is during the paper I get X, after the paper I get X plus Y. I can guarantee GP is that this is what I call as OCAT score. So what happens with the score that you get during the paper, during the test, and your potential score, which means all the score that you could have got easily in those 2 hours when you do the analysis, and that score will be slightly higher. I think that score itself should be good enough to get you whatever percentile that you can get. And I've seen this time and again. I'm sure that in QA, if let's say in the mock test you got a score of let's say 20, you suddenly realize that once you take the test once again, I can actually get 40. If in verbal you see that I'm getting a score of 20, when you do once again, you see that okay, I can actually get something like 35. In the DLR section, you just got stuck in one set and couldn't do anything. But after the mock, suddenly you realize, oh shit, I could have probably done one more set. So which again comes back to this idea that there is no need. What additional knowledge are you going to gain? Right. So the whole thing about while you're revising, I think the first mindset, I believe, it's important is that whatever preparation that you have done is good enough to do well in the CAT. I think more than good enough to do well in the CAT. What is going to happen is on the day of the CAT. And on the day of the CAT, I think there are certain people who will just worry about the fact that what if it is going to be replicated mock CAT or something. There's nothing. So you have to first believe that you have the potential to get the score that you can get. Yes, you have it. It's like Virat Kohli's innings. You have it. It's you will rise up to the occasion and on the CAT, and you will do well. That's it. And you're telling that once again. So how do I build that mindset, get that reality, which is what GP was saying. What revision does is more than, for example, building the knowledge, right? That is one step. But what revision also does, reinforcing yourself that I know a lot of stuff. I'm very capable. So your idea about going back to look at the CAT's papers once again. This is what CAT is. Whatever the mock is CAT papers once again. Going back and doing it. I think that is going to really, really help you sort of boost your score. Other thing, of course, that you can tangibly do today is to just look at how do I keep reducing this gap, right? And this is GP addressed it. This gap exists because of the behavior that we have. GP has talked about the behavior that we have VRC. For example, let's look at VRC, for instance. In VRC, for doing the reading comprehension, the knowledge that you need is the 5 minutes that I read the passage. That's before I start with the reading comprehension, I have no knowledge to answer any of the 4 questions. While reading the passage, in those 4 minutes that I'm going to read the passage, I'm going to gain whatever information to answer the question. But in those 4 minutes, we either read too slow, that we don't understand, either read too fast, that we don't understand. We building, we worry about this, we worry about that. At the end of the day, if you go do stuff at your pace of comprehension, stuff will work. So what is that you can do to ensure that you have the right behavior? What you can do in the next 30 days, for example, for VRC, what you need to do is continue as a habit of reading. And don't stop reading, for example, reading articles from Aon Essays or reading articles from JSTOR Daily, reading random journals, entries from the JST Delhi. I will also probably just keep on doing that. Ensure that your as a habit that never stops. Because at the end of the day, you are consuming the next 30 days. So for that is like building up to it. So your paper, CAT in fact is very comprehension paper. DLR is lot of comprehension. DLR comprehension. That's sort of the behavior, reinforcing the fact that I know vast amount of topic. For DLR, especially what GP is saying. So what is the new thing that you want to learn? The more number of mocks that you take, you are exposing yourself to more number of new sort of new question, but it's going to be on the basic same concepts. So better to go back and do the questions. So ignore the question that you could not solve at all, but those questions which were slightly confusing, that was GP were talking about, the moderate difficulty ones, go back and revise those things. And DLR is kind of QA is very clean. I think the revision of QA is very simple. Just go back and do the questions from the CAT. Automatically, you're doing the revision. Is there any new concept that you want to learn in the 30 days? Yeah, you could. I don't know if you really want to answer that. But first answer this question. To answer your question is that what is the gap that you're trying to do? Is my post test potential gap is good? Score is good enough? Then why am I learning anything new? And that's so sort of the sort of the basic stuff that you want to do. Is it possible therefore to improve your score? Absolutely possible. Whatever percentage, because you have it in you. It's now a question of what is that you're going to do on sort of the day of the test, right? And the day of test. What is the mindset? Your mindset should be someone who is preparing for war. Your mindset should be someone like our cricket team preparing for the test. They have a routine now. Now, next 30 days is a regiment. So, number one, if the paper that I know is going to be in slot number 2, then every single stuff that I'm going to take would be at particular time. I know I have got a particular regimen that I have to change my biological clock, then I'll change my biological thing. I'm telling myself I'm preparing for it. That's a mindset, killer mindset that I need to have. Number 3, I have to be in control. I'm going to do stuff that I can. I'm going to forget about things. I don't care about things that I can't. So there is this sort of idea that I want to share with you guys, right? This is everything of something. This is what I end up doing. Let's say this one, something of everything. In our preparation, we end up doing something of everything. That's what we do. We do something of this, something of that. I think what you have to do is that you have to do everything of some things and nothing of other things. That's what you want to change. Today in the last 30 days, you are basically for total FOMO is happening. You are in this group, somebody's doing something, I want to do it. Somebody's doing something, I want to do this. But you have to then you end up doing something of everything. What is the point? You have to ask yourself, you know who you are. You have to ask yourself, I'm going to do everything about some things. And I'm nothing of the other things.
Jijo, in fact, all of them have passed their college exam doing something by doing everything of something. Half the syllabus they will not touch, rest of the half they will do completely. ठीक है, वो आदत है, but CAT में आके पता नहीं क्यों सब कुछ करना चाहते हैं लोग.
Largely happening is the belief that whatever I do, things are not working. Okay, that's a belief. You have told yourself those things. No, you every single day you're sitting and doing something. Your belief is that is not changing. What you have to look at is look at saying that I have got my form, right? I've got a class. I have done my stuff. My form is temporary. In the past couple of matches, my score is not well, but I know that I'm the Virat Kohli. When it matters, when it's a game against Pakistan, I'm going to rock. And that is a sense of attitude that you need to have. Whatever happened in the past doesn't matter. On the day of the CAT, it's a test, the only test. How does it matter what happened in the mock CDC 9? How does it matter when you're looking at the question on the screen? How does it matter what happened in mock number 3, or how does it matter what happened in mock number 7? How does it matter anything? What matters is that you knowing yourself that you have it in you and cracking it. That's basically the mindset. Yeah, GP. Anything there, GP?
No, I think this covered everything. We can probably look at a few other questions now.
I think what people would want is, okay, so what people would now want to ask is that what is it sort of daily schedule that they should follow? Is another.
I think वो daily weekly वाला एक होना चाहिए है उसमें. So let us try to address that issue first.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look at the weekly schedule, Jijo.
Yeah. How many weeks are there? We have 4 weeks, no?
4 weeks. Okay. So I will say, depending upon your level, 2 to 3 papers a week. Okay. 2 to 3 mocks on the upper side, higher side, 3 mocks. On the lower side, 2. Okay. There's a reason for that. if you're doing well, you're consistently hitting 95 plus, यानी knowledge का issue नहीं है, तुम्हें ज्यादा चीजें आती है, maybe you don't need to revise too much also. So taking a paper every once 3 papers a week should be fine with you, but don't make it more than 3 papers a week, because then you will not be able to do anything else, and by the time you hit CAT, that will be a case of severe burnout. Okay, so नहीं करना है. Let me start with an assumption that people should be taking 2 papers a week. Okay, 3 paper वाले कम होंगे, ज्यादातर लोग होंगे 2 papers a week वाले. Okay, now 2 papers a week means the day you take a paper, okay, on that day you will do nothing else but analyzing the paper. Okay, okay, so that leaves you with 5 days of the week. Okay, so 2 papers a week, on the same day you will obviously do the analysis also. Okay, okay, so let me say day 1 and day 4 you have taken these 2 papers. Okay, so mock 1 and mock 2, 2 mocks have to be taken. Okay, what will you do in the balance 5 days? 2 days for revision, 1 day for complete revision of all the moderate questions of quant, and 1 day for complete revision of moderate questions of DILR. So 2 revision days, you can decide which 2 days, I don't care. But when I say moderate question of quant, all the CAT papers, old CAT papers, all the mocks, whichever question you have identified for revision, you have to solve those questions again. You are not supposed to look at them. You have to put a pen on paper if required. If required, draw the figure, write down the equation, solve it completely. That is what I want you to do. The same thing for DILR. So 1 day for complete DILR revision, you will pick up all those sets which are doable, but you get confused. These are not the very difficult or the very easy sets. Very difficult, you don't have to attempt in the paper at all. Very easy, you'll do it in any case. The ones where you get a little bit confused, you take a little time, yeah, doable by you, but you struggle with it. Those are the sets you have to solve completely. Okay. And if you think you need 2 days of revision for DILR or 2 days of quant, even that is fine with me. But to begin with, I'll say 2 days of mock and 2 days for revision. That leaves you with 3 days. What do you do in those 3 days? Old papers, because many of the old papers will still be pending for you. Old papers of CAT and old paper and the mock and the other mocks which are pending for you. Now, when the other mocks which are pending, there will be many of these papers, you will not have time to complete these papers. Take those mocks as section test. Okay. So on the Career Launcher account, some of these mocks you can take as section test also. Okay, and that is true for older CAT papers also. So these 3 days are for working on those areas. Now, if you notice, मैंने बिल्कुल नहीं बोला कि 1 day for learning something new. Just emphasizing again, कुछ नया नहीं करना है. Nothing new to be done. Okay. Okay. Now, this is to be done. Okay. In addition to this, on every day, 7 days a week, I would want you to do 1 RC test or verbal test. Okay. Or you could say 3 days of verbal test, 3 days of RC test, or if you want, you could do 1 verbal VRC test. Okay. I'm indifferent to that part. But daily reading has to be done through a test is what I would recommend. Okay. So if you can do 1 RC test every day, it's perfectly fine with me. Okay. So that's the broad structure which I would recommend to everyone. Jijo, you can probably suggest changes.
So my idea, there's no suggestion here. So basically we are said there are only 4 weeks because it is arbitrarily decided. Somebody said 7 days is a week. Why should 7 days be a week? My week is 5 days. Okay. So if somebody says there are 4 weeks, 4 into 7 is 28 days or 30 days. I'm basically saying that my week is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 and day 5. This is what I'm going to define as my week. And in those weeks that I have, which means I'm basically going to do the same thing. That it's kind of easy. You can create your own calendar, which will get more number of weeks to work with, and because there is usual this one that work will fill the time, right? Work fill this time. So again the same thing. So you're taking a mock test. You're taking the mock on a day 1. You're doing the analysis. To me, every 5 days 1 mock is enough, according to me, right? And then you've got your QA day, we have got your DLR day, and you have got your pending issues day. And then daily you have the VA RC test day. This is how I'm going to look at it. So here the changes is if someone who's already scoring consistently 99 5 plus percentile, 99.9 percentile. Uske liye, I think that there is nothing much to revise. Revision is all about moderate questions, right? So when GPS talks about revision, let's say there are areas where you are completely comfortable. It's very comfortable. Areas where it's like you are in the middle ground. Sometimes it's like okie dokie types. So area somewhere in the middle. And then let's say there are areas that you're absolutely comfortable. And there are areas where you are completely gone. So basically the GPU is saying that this you're already comfortable, why bother about it? This is that you're completely gone the area, just says remove it. You revise on these areas that keeps confusing you, right? So that's what the idea is. So revise those areas, which means you're building in the CAT. So to revise this, strengthen your concept again and again. Now there could be a lot of students who are doing extremely well in certain sections, right? Extremely well in DLR. QA any day, it's like out of this 22 questions, let's say it does about 15, 16, 17 questions. Therefore, you don't have stuff to revise. Then you change yourself. One of the things that you keep hearing that people say is that towards the last 30 days kept on taking a lot of mock tests. Let's say a lot many people in their interviews say, I took a lot many mock tests. They took a lot many mock tests because they didn't have any problem to deal with. They're already scoring pretty high. So don't focus on that. So you can make your decision. You may even decide, okay, fine. So make it flexible. It has to be your schedule. List on the tasks that you've listed down. Saying that, is there any areas that I need to revise? Is there any areas that I'm worried with? Because then if there is no area, let's say for example, if DLR is completely sorted or QA is completely sorted, you can then add more number of mock tests to just keep on building on that. But you'll have to decide your own schedule. And the schedule is simply with this idea that I would two things. One, what we are saying is that you already have during the paper you've got a particular situation. During the paper you've got a particular, after the paper you get much more. So therefore you have it in you. You don't have to do anything new. And this thing that you do is to building your mindset in this 30 days to be confident about the particular test, and you would be confident in this test and keep it as a regiment. I think make it very task based. Forget about outcome. Ignore the outcome, make it task oriented, make it duty based. It is now your duty to do it. It's like it's like your job. You're doing every single day. Keep it very simple. Keep your task very simple. Continue to do this. And let's say at this point in time, don't worry about fluctuating score. Score fluctuate means that you've got good scores. And I think that we have addressed almost everything, GP.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. One of the questions which is connected to this, which has come on YouTube also. What do we do about other exams, which is ZAT, SNAP, IFT, etc.? My suggestion is forget about them. We will talk about IFT, SNAP, NMAT on 28th of November. Till 27th, please don't worry about any of these papers. If you have already scheduled a NMAT before that, then obviously you have to do something about it. And the only thing you should do is, if let's say you have scheduled NMAT for 20th of November, 15th to 20th November, just do all NMAT papers available to you. And so till 14th, it is only CAT. 15th to 20th is NMAT. 21st onwards, back to a CAT only. IFT, for the change, is giving you 3 weeks after CAT. You don't have to be worried about it. ZAT is 5 weeks after CAT. Don't worry about it. There's ample time after CAT to take care of them. And SNAP is going to be a much more simpler paper than CAT. Whatever we are doing for CAT will take care of SNAP also. Yes, you will need to do a few papers. After CAT, you take mock papers of SNAP, end of the story. But for IFT and ZAT, we will have a separate session after CAT. So 27th is CAT. In the week of 28th, we'll have a separate session for IFT. We'll talk about the strategy for the paper, how to handle the paper, what to do in those 3 weeks. And we'll have a strategy session for ZAT. And again, what to do in those 5 weeks for that also. Okay. So please don't worry about these papers at this point of time. And yes, same thing will be done for SNAP also.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though these papers sounds very different, lot of different sections, fundamentally they are all the same. Decision making is still comprehension based. ZAT is very the ZAT VRC is very comprehension heavy. Though there are few bit of GK, sorry, your knowledge based questions, and then it still has a quant. IFT is that area still there. You might say that okay, fine, they have got this question, that question, all that is manageable. I think don't IFT after all is for one college.
Yes.
And therefore, why you worry at this point in time? It's important college. I'm saying you have to worry. That obviously opens a lot of door, but that and CAT has got a lot of synergies. Just about aligning yourself to deal with decision making, that can be done. Snap is a test which is very weird. They do whatever they want to do. There is no point preparing for it only, according to me. I think that you will have to take a few mock tests based on it and hope for the best. But in which case, whatever the skill set that you have is manageable. NMAT, on the other hand, is a very standardized test. So if you have the NMAT official guide, good enough. And standard test, the pattern is going to be what you see, much more standard as an examination. So I think that a lot of things will be taken care of. I think what GP said is perfect.
Yeah, these are just specific questions from Khushi. I think that will be helpful for others also. Khushi has a NMAT on 13 November. Okay, and she's asking what should I do on a daily basis? Nothing. Till 7th November, just focus on CAT. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 5 days. Take a NMAT mock every day. You can do the NMAT guide, whatever you want to do, all the papers that you have. And in that case, you could take 2 papers a day also. I don't have a problem. Okay. So 2 papers a day, that means 6 sections a day. But to me, 5 days, 5 papers, and the 6th day taking NMAT is going to be good enough. Remember that NMAT, while it is called an adaptive paper, it is not really an adaptive paper. At least that has been my experience. Okay. So what you need to remember, NMAT, there's no negative marking. Today itself, a student called me that he's struggling with input-output question. What should I do? No negative marking, and it is for, in the strictest sense, not an adaptive paper. Every time you come across an input-output question, mark B and move on. Don't waste time. तुम्हें मालूम है आता नहीं तो क्या कर लोगे? Negative marking नहीं है तो answer mark करो, अगले पे जाओ. At least you will have sufficient time for the question that you know. Okay. So Khushi, this is what I would say. 5 days, 5 papers. वो एक कौन सी मूवी थी यार शाहरुख खान की?
That you're asking the wrong person.
हाँ, नहीं. I remember it because of a very stupid sexist comment. I'm planning to use that. So मैं शाहरुख खान पे डाल रहा हूँ. 6 दिन लड़की इन वाला था उसके अंदर. I'm sure some of the students will remember which movie I'm talking about. But that was one of the dialogue. 6 दिन लड़की इन. I'm saying boss ये 5 दिन paper in हो जाएगा. हाँ, कल होना हो, whatever it is. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So please don't worry about other papers. जो CAT क्लियर कर रहे हो, everything will be very, very useful for all the other papers. NMAT, IFT, SNAP, all 3 of them are easier than CAT. The level of difficulty of Quant and English will be much lower. So please don't worry about them from a degree of difficulty point of view. 5 दिन 5 paper करके क्या होगा? You will get into the mode of taking that paper. That's all. Okay.
One other thing is that in NMAT, if you look at, I think the only area that is slightly different is the logical reasoning type of questions. वो थोड़ा कर लो during the period of time.
I think that उसमें भी ना logical reasoning में, if I look at the paper, it's about 50% analytical, 50% critical. So if you are good in the critical reasoning or the verbal reasoning part, do only the easy question of analytical and all the verbal reasoning questions, and vice versa if your analytical is your stronger point.
Yeah.
So बहुत आसानी से निकलता है. Out of those 36 questions, if you do 25, 26 genuine attempts, you have done a very good job of the paper.
So just look at the official guide, look at the questions, and don't. I think other thing that people tend to worry about, what about grammar, vocabulary? Let's assume there's a test that is there, just a test, 20 questions test. We have got 10 questions and 10 questions, 10 questions on grammar, vocabulary, and other stuff that we did not do much for CAT, and 10 questions on comprehension, paragraph jumble, those kind of questions. I think the fact that this level of difficulty of, let's say, any of these tests is slightly manageable. I think IFT. I think that you can actually get about 8 questions correct here. And out of this 10, because you've lived so long, I'm sure that you'll know 4 things. You'll know at least 4 stuff. 4, maybe 3. You'll suddenly start seeing that you have 12 out of 20 correct. The point that I'm saying is that at this point in time, don't start mugging word list. Right. So and it's not worth it if there is an NMAT in between. At this point in time, focusing too much, whatever that you need, your reading habit for the CAT that would have helped you build whatever vocabulary that is built. Just focus on this comprehension for this test. That's a simple thing I want to say. Yeah. All right, GP, I think We have addressed almost every. I think there's one question. Can I start now? Of course, you can start now. What is stopping? Nobody's stopping you from starting. Please start. Anything,
So there's
anything.
also that issue of college exams.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
can
no,
just- I
mention.
think
Yeah.
college versus CAT.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you have exams, there's not much you can do. You'll have to manage both of them. I would not say exams completely no karo, but if exams are not there. For example, many students I know their exams are starting, let's say, around 5th or 6th of December. Not an issue at all. After CAT, start working on your college work. Okay. And again, I'm sure all of you know how to get decent scores in college exams. Okay. Now, some of you may be unfortunate and your college exams and CAT will be clashing. You'll have to take a call. If your college exams are, let's say, from 20th of November till 30th November, unfortunately, nothing can be done. You'll have to deal with that situation. You'll have to decide to somehow balance the two with a greater focus on the one where you think you need to, which is more important for you. Okay. So I cannot say ki CAT zyada important hai ki college. That's a call you will need to take.
Actually, just think about it. I think CAT is not a knowledge-based test, right? It's an aptitude test, skill test. And whatever the knowledge is, little bit of knowledge about some mathematical concept that you need. So you already have the skill set to do well for CAT. Your college exam is likely going to be very knowledge-based. And hopefully you have listened to what your teacher is saying, which I'm saying probably is unlikely. And therefore you need to spend next amount of time on the examination. Start now itself. Don't wait till the very end. And it's about just balancing things together. I think that in life we end up balancing a lot many things. First of all, I don't like the framing of this particular question, A versus B. I think that what is that? A versus B seems to suggest that one increasing one is down of others. I think that it's always A and B. There is no college versus CAT. There is college and CAT. So we just manage both. And if you have to spend a little bit of time, a little bit of sacrifice, morning college, evening, afternoon. Let's say in college, if you're going to the college, and if you get time in between to spend some time somewhere, so just manage both. This is not life or death issue, which is obviously a binary concept. So this should be the case with everybody. Everybody will have something or other happening simultaneously. For those who are working, maybe the work pressure will be high. Those who may have personal issues and other things that they're struggling with, or many things may happen. Somebody's wedding may happen. A lot of things can happen. So whatever is your can, and whatever other thing that is important for you, and then you start saying that it is all everything and can, and you manage it together. That's probably what I'll say.
These are one question which keeps coming. Yash is extremely worried about when to stop taking CAT, when to stop taking mocks. Maybe 27th is CAT. Maybe after 24th, 25th, you should not take a paper. I think 24th should be good enough. See, look at this. So 27th is a paper. 26th, you should just be relaxing. Maybe do a light revision or something. So I would say 25th, 26th is for revision and light revision essentially. So 24th to me is possibly the outer limit. Okay? But please understand, these are subjective items which are dependent on you as a person. Someone else might want to take a paper on the second last day also, though I would not recommend, but I will not be against someone if it works for you. So what works for you is what you need to identify for yourself. And to me, it does not matter. My only thing is, last 1 week में जो paper लोगे ना, उसके score को seriously मत लेना. Which means if you're taking a paper on 24th and you get a 38 score, please don't be worried about it. 38 marks. हो जाता है, ठीक है? Tell yourself, अच्छा है, खराब score अभी आ गया, बाद में ठीक हो जाएगा. If you get a 138, be happy about it, but tell yourself, great, I need to replicate this on the day of the CAT. So what are the things I did right? Let me try to do the same thing on the day of the paper. Okay? Don't get onto a high कि चलो फोड़ दिया अब तो CAT हो ही जाएगा. Don't say कि यार अब डूब गया कुछ नहीं होगा. Okay, these are papers, these are mocks. They don't have any value at the end of the day. Okay, no one is going to give you a performance or reject you just because you did not do well or did well in the mock CAT. Okay.
Yeah, so my only take is that I think that whatever paper that you take closer to CAT, what is the point? I think what you are trying to achieve through it. I'll probably stop it on 21st, 1 week before or 20th itself. That is what I would do personally, and then I'll say, okay, whatever happens in the CAT happens. I've done everything, and then. That's what I would do. Up to you. I think that everybody is different. You obviously cannot follow. You have to basically do something that may give you peace of mind. So whatever gives you peace of mind is what you do. There is no otherwise scientifically valid logic to say a cutoff date for anything. I think this is all based on because whatever you do, you're basically doing it for your peace of mind. That's the last 1 week is for your peace of mind. If you can watch a movie one day before the cat, that gives you peace of mind. Do that. So that's basically it.
Jijo, there's a question from Sarthak, and I'm actually confused with this question.
What is the
It
question?
seems Sarthak has decided कि इस साल cat उसका अच्छा होगा ही नहीं. He's saying, putting practically, if this attempt goes bad, as I'm in my fourth year, how to cover for drop months without taking a placement? यानी decide कर लिया ना सार्थक, पेपर तो अच्छा होना नहीं है.
Yeah, मतलब
क्यों? सार्थक, why? Why are you assuming you'll not do well? And if you're so sure you'll not do well, then maybe you need to start working towards a backup plan right now. And your backup plan could be IFT, ZAT, others. Your backup plan could be some other placements. Okay? So go with a positive frame of mind. There's something called self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, I think you are ensuring that will happen. So you decide what is going to happen, and that happens. Okay, so please don't fall into that trap. Just focus on what is at hand. Don't think too much about the outcome. Okay, focus on the process. Okay? अभी इंडिया का मैच देखा था ना? Why did क्या कहते हैं? In the last over, we lost 2 wickets. Hardik Pandya and Dinesh Karthik. Both of them were looking for the outcome, not for the process. The most sensible person walked in and he focused on the process. Ball outside the off stump, छोड़ दो. खत्म बात. ठीक है? So focus on the process. Don't worry about the outcome. Outcome will be good if the process is followed. If you don't follow the process, try to do all kinds of stupid things, the outcome is not going to be good. ठीक है? Outcome तुम्हारे control में नहीं है. Process is in your control. Okay? So focus on the process.
Yeah, I think there is no point worried about hypothetical situation. Okay, so somebody's asking, is it possible to get our scribble that we did for this session? I can download it and share it, and hopefully somewhere. I think
aspiration account में डाल देंगे सबके. And Jijo, you could share it on that अपना MBA वाले group में डाल देते हैं.
I'll put it
on the Telegram group. We'll share it. I think that will be the fastest.
I don't know what will make sense with this sheet, but I will try it.
Tanuj is asking, is a jump from 40 to 80 possible? From now to CAT. Yes, Tanuj, absolutely possible. Please look at this 80 again. 80 is how many questions? 80 is 27 questions. Less than 50% of the paper. If you can attempt 35 odd questions, you can get 27 right. So 40 to 80 is easily possible. I don't know whether you are talking about marks or percentile. मैं तो marks की बात कर रहा हूँ. And if you get 80 marks, you are likely to be something like a 96, 95, 97 percentile. Okay, so there's another question. Okay, Jijo, students who are asking Jugaad videos कहाँ मिलेंगे? And the students who are possibly asking Jugaad videos are the ones possibly who are not CL students. You could go to go to YouTube and check out my Jugaad videos on YouTube. You could type GP Jugaad videos and you'll possibly get them. Or you go to the Kai Launcher link out there, Kai Launcher channel, and you'll got it there. If you're a Kai Launcher student, for each mock, I have created a Jugaad video, each count on CAT, not all the mocks. And I have completed the backlog. I think CAT 8, 9, 7, 8, All India mock CAT, Open mock CAT, and CAT 8, 9, 10, TDCs, 11. In सबका मैंने डाल दिया है, so you can check it in your aspiration account.
Perfecto. I think we have addressed also. People are talking about we'll come back and we'll do more discussion. What to do on D-Day. We'll worry about that 1 week before the CAT.
Yes.
I think we'll do more sessions and we will cover more of these, and this is already planned.
Ansh, when I say 35 questions, highest number of questions in your strongest area, least number of questions in your weakest area. For 30, I gave a breakup for kind of a 12, 10 and 8 na. Create a breakup for yourself. इतना tension नहीं लेते कि हर चीज एकदम right down to the last number नहीं चाहिए है. ठीक है? Anuj, you are in a very good position. NCOBC candidate 80 marks, DILR 15 marks. You'll possibly clear the cutoff comfortably. All you need to do is focus on your old CAT papers and mock CATs for DILR revision. And focus, and if the paper, your job is to do just one set of 6 or maybe 2 sets of 4. Okay. So, Jijo, anything you think we have missed out?
I think we have done almost
There's
everything.
one last thing, Jijo.
Hmm.
Couple of students have said both on YouTube as well as this our own channel कि यार timer पे problem हो जाती है. When I switch on when in a countdown cat with timer, I'm not able to do well. Without a timer, I do well. मेरे को मालूम नहीं क्या बोलना है इसका.
Whether the timer is there or not, time is going to move.
Hmm.
So just because there is something that reminds you that time is moving and you have a problem with it, then you basically put whatever as far as possible, answer all the question using the question paper button. It will just
Yeah.
I think for DLR set, you open the question paper button, it will hide the timer.
Mhm.
And then you can solve it, and that's the only thing. Otherwise, just make the timer your friend. So which means keep milestones. For example, in 40 minutes, mentally know that what is that you need to do after 10 minutes. What is the milestone? 10 minutes, every 10 minutes or 15 minutes, what's the milestone that I need to have? Maybe I should be in the middle of the second paragraph. So keep those stuff the milestone. I used to stick paper over the
Yeah.
timer. You can't do that. You can't do it. You have to basically take the paper and can't do that.
और ठीक है, अल्टीमेटली इग्नोर करना, कैसे भी इग्नोर करो, क्या फर्क पड़ता है. Tanuj, please drop a mail to support@careerlauncher.com with a CC to me. When will he have the next star batch session, Jijo?
He never had one. I think GP.
He never had one actually.
We had one or two.
Huh.
So we'll plan something. I think.
So,
I think sort of stuff happened. And we're sorry. All right, GP. I think we'll close it, and all the very best, guys.
Okay, bye. Good night. All the best. We'll meet again a week before CAT, and in between we'll see if we need to meet once more. Okay. Chalo. Bye. Good night. All the best.